Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of All Time Replay, the sports podcast where we relive the biggest moments in sports. I'm your host, Raphael, and tonight we're going to take a special trip back in time. We're going to take a trip to one, what is it? 1 East 161st Street. That's it. Look, I haven't been there in, well, decade. Um, actually, I've never been to the old Yankee Stadium. I've never been to the new Yankee Stadium. I've only seen the Yankees on the road twice in Tampa and in Atlanta. But I'm going to take you back to the old Yankee Stadium that was built in 1923. They used to call it the house that Ruth built. Okay. And in 1977, it was home to the World Series between the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers, which was about to be the first of two back-to-back meetings between these major league powerhouses and historical rivals, really, in the World Series. They faced each other too many times in the past already. So um, the Yankees are coming off of getting swept by the Big Red Machine in 1976. 4 games straight of just couldn't keep up with that machine, dude. Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, uh, Davey Conception, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan. I mean, my God, the list is long and distinguished. Just like Mike Johnson. That's a Top Gun reference. But yeah, so the Yankees were in the World Series, um, trying to redeem themselves, trying to win their first World Series since 1962. They were also trying to accomplish, the only team with 21 World Series. Uh, well, hell, they were the only team with 20. So, um, but this World Series was pretty entertaining. It ended in 6 games, though. It couldn't go seven. The Yankees wrapped it up on this night, October 18th of 1977. You see that black section back there? Yeah, back there. Yep, that's it. Where no one's sitting down? Yeah, that one. That's gonna come up later. That's the furthest part of Yankee Stadium. If you hit a ball down there, you don't hit the hell out of that ball. that ball, that ball's done for, man. Because that's a pretty long distance from home plate. I like to call this episode Reggie's Three Swings. We're gonna basically be talking about not just this game, but the superstar of this game, right? The who became the World Series MVP of this game. A guy that, I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer, which, by the way, first ballot, 93.5% of the vote. Look it up. It's incredible. Reggie Jackson, who came to New York with 3 rings from Oakland. Okay. 72, 73, 74. The Oakland A's were just dominating Major League Baseball in the early 70s. And Reggie Jackson was part of the reason why. Now, before we get into what he did, let's talk a little bit about what was going on in the 70s. Okay, 77. This was, we're now talking about the fall of 77, right? Jimmy Carter's president of the United States, man, from Georgia. How about that? Here we are. Kiss is dominating the airways in the 70s. They're one of the biggest rock bands in the world at this time, right? They were also one of the first rock bands to have like their own trademark, man. Like these people. Like, I went to school with kids in the 70s, right? That had Kiss lunch boxes, man. They were the only band that had that kind of merch going on in 1977. It was a wild time to be alive, man. Afros, bell bottoms, platform shoes, the big butterfly collars, and the polyester. Man, it was wild. It was real wild. Major League Baseball looked a little differently than what it looks like today, though. We didn't have the Marlins, the Rays, the Rockies, or the Diamondbacks. The are the Nationals, who today used to be the Montreal Expos. The Brewers were in the American League, and get this, the Astros were in the National League. I hated that they came to the American League. I hated Houston when they were in the National League. But moving right along to 1977, Game 6 of the World Series. Um, the standings that year, you only had, I mentioned that a lot of teams weren't around yet. You only had 26 teams, and the divisions that were only two. There were two divisions per league. The American League had 7 teams per division, and the National League had 6 teams per division. Okay, kind of like a little imbalance of power. I'm not sure if that's the reason why the American League and National League didn't always play. I always heard that. I don't know where I heard it from. It could be total nonsense, but I had always heard that the reason the American League, National League didn't used to play, except for when they used to do it every once in a while, right? They have interleague weekend, and you get to see the Yankees and Dodgers, or the Red Sox and whoever in the National League. You know what I mean? But it would normally, the leagues only faced each other in spring training and the World Series, right? That was it. That's traditional purist baseball right there. Okay. But then I guess once Houston came over to the American League and kind of balanced the power, you have two leagues with 15 teams. um, now all bets off, right? And I mean, it doesn't matter. American League, National League, and I know the fans love it, especially the younger fans love it, especially if you live in an American League city, the Dodgers come to town, man. Now you get to see Shohei Ohtani, which under the old rules you wouldn't be able to. So I'm kind of set in my ways of what I appreciate, what I like, and what I don't like. But I mean, I can understand it too. You know what I mean? I'm not a complete. I'm not lost. It's not lost on me. Let's talk about these rosters for this game, for Game 6, huh? The Dodgers, the visiting Dodgers had, I mean, just an incredible lineup, man. All the way down from back in those days. Well, back in these days, in the National League, the pitcher used to bat. However, not tonight. They're in the American League Stadium. But look at these lineups, though. Davey Lopes playing second base. Bill Russell at shortstop. Man, that dude was a good shortstop, and he would beat the hell out of you if you crossed him. Reggie Smith in right field. Not too familiar with him. Ron Say, I do remember him because even though I was 5 when this game took place. Later on in his career, before he retired, Ron Say played for the Cubs, and I had his card when he played for the Cubs. Steve Garvey at first base. Dude looked like Popeye, man. He had these cannons for forearms. Dusty Baker. I could do a whole podcast on Dusty Baker and why I've appreciated and loved Dusty Baker through the years, even though, I mean, I'm a Yankee fan. But Dusty was just one of those guys, man. And as a manager, I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why, even though he's never managed the Yankees, I think it would be, especially with what we got in New York, I wouldn't mind having Dusty Baker managing the Yankees. But Dusty Baker, with what he endured in San Francisco, and he had to manage Barry Bonds and that freak show of 1998 and through 2001 and all that. Um, yeah, Dusty Baker, man, he was part of that team. He was an awesome outfielder. Rick Monday is the guy, many of you remember, who ripped the American flag from some protester out in the field in the game, who was going to burn the flag, and he took the flag away from that dude. And Steve Yeager was the catcher. The pitcher at night, the starting pitcher for the Dodgers was a fellow named Bert Hooton. The Yankees had their lineup: Mickey Rivers in center field. Mickey Rivers. Now, John Deasley likes to make fun of Mickey Rivers. My buddy John from the neighborhood. When we were kids, you know what I mean? He likes to make fun of Mickey Rivers. But Mickey Rivers was fast. If anything, he gave you speed on the base pads. Willie Randolph, probably one of my all-time favorite second basemen, especially in a Yankee uniform, Loved Willie Randolph. Wish he would have been able to manage the Yankees at some point, but it just didn't pan out with the success. Excuse me, the success of Joe Torre, the success that followed with Joe Girardi, and we were hoping to have similar success with Aaron Boone, right? But I guess he's only going to give us one great memory, and that was that. Well, never mind. Well, moving along, Thurman Munson was batting third. He was the catcher. May he rest in peace. He died in a plane crash in 1978. Reggie Jackson was a cleanup hitter. He played right field. I mean, he was just an incredible ball player. He had a good arm, but he was just so strong, man. And he got stronger as he got older because I really hated when the Yankees traded him to the Angels after the '81 disaster of the World Series against these Dodgers. He continued just to belt home runs out of the park, man. Played 20 years in the league, man. What an incredible athlete. Chris Chambliss was our first baseman. He was a tall dude, man. I believe that guy could have probably played in the NBA, and he had a great bat too. As a matter of fact, he starts the Yankees scoring in the third inning. Excuse me. He starts the Yankees scoring. Yeah, bottom of the second inning with Reggie on base. But Chris Chambliss was an amazing first baseman, and Greg Nettles playing third. Greg Nettles was the reason why I spent about 6 weeks of my 10th year on this earth trying to make myself a right-handed thrower. I'm left-handed, but I wanted to learn how to throw with my right hand because I wanted to play shortstop and third base. I wanted to play in the infield, and the only place a guy that throws with his left hand can play in the infield is either first base or pitcher. I was the runt of the crew. They're not sticking me on first base. I was the shortest guy anywhere. I'm still not that tall. So I probably still could have played first base today. But I spent weeks with my stepbrother out there. Man, I used to go to my dad's house on weekends, and my stepbrother and I were just out there just throwing grounders to each other, and me wearing his glove, a right-handed thrower's glove. And man, I'm glad I didn't break nobody's window. We used to play on the street in Miami back in the '80s. It was a wild time. But Greg Nettles, amazing third baseman. Lou Piniella, who a lot of people remember him later on for his managerial role with the Seattle. I almost said it again with the Seattle Mariners. Um, I mean, he took them as far as he can go, but he had hella five players in Seattle. I mean, he had Junior, Griffey. You know what I mean? I mean, that's all you got to say. He had Big Unit. He had what's his name? The greatest DH of all time, Edgar Martinez. Like Lou Piniella was an amazing baseball player too, though. And then Bucky Dent playing shortstop. Now, Bucky Dent hails from the same part of South Florida I hail from, Hialeah, which is in Miami-Dade County. Bucky Dent, funny story, man. My uncle, may he rest in peace, Rudy. Rudy in the early 90s bought the childhood home of Bucky Dent in Hialeah because, like I said, Bucky Dent grew up in Hialeah. He went to Hialeah High. And my uncle Rudy ended up buying a house. The house came with a pool, dude. We used to love spending summers over there, swimming every day at Bucky Dent's old house. And the park right behind where I used to live last in Miami was there was a park, and it was called Bucky Dent Park. So Bucky Dent, who known to Red Sox fans as Bucky effing Dent, right? That would happen next year. um, and then our pitcher on the bump that night was Mike Torres pitching for the Yankees. Now, let's see. We've covered the. Yep. Let's take a look at the scoring in Game 6, shall we? Top of the first inning, the Dodgers waste no time scoring. Down 3-2, man. They got to do something. They're back in New York for the if necessary games, right? Of 6 and 7. Well, This is game 6. The Dodgers got to win this game if they hope to extend the game to game 7, or excuse me, the series to game 7 and have a chance to beat the Yankees. But they're off to a good start. Top of the first inning, Steve Garvey triples to right field. A 2-run triple. Now, Steve Garvey, John, if you're listening, you remember what I'm talking about. That was a power guy, dude. And he had such a wild approach to the ball. I mean, listen, I've seen that dude when he played for the Padres later on in his career. He got traded to the Padres. He hit some home runs, man. When he was he was playing golf. He was swinging a golf club, not a baseball bat. I've seen that dude. I mean, he liked low pitches, but he used to send him far. He was strong, dude. He had these huge forearms, looking like Popeye. I don't picture him to be a guy that could run a triple, though. You know what I mean? A triple. Now, I think Mickey Rivers could probably squeeze out a triple because he's fast. I didn't know that Steve Garvey had those kind of wheels. Um, I wish I could see the instant replay of that particular play just to see how stupid the Yankee defense looked. Because for a guy that big to get a triple, they must have looked like idiots going after that ball. In the bottom of the first inning, the Yankees went in order 1, 2, 3. At the top of the second, no difference for the Dodgers coming up. The Yankees faced their 7, 8, 9 batters, and they all went down in order. Get to the bottom of the second inning, and that's where Reggie Jackson walks his first plate appearance. And then Chris Chambliss comes up and hits one deep to right center. So now the Yankees have tied this game. We're going to the top of the third with the game tied 2-2. Reggie Smith, the center fielder, hits a home run to deep right center. So now the Dodgers are looking at a 3-2 lead, bottom of the third inning. And again, Putin's having success on the mound because he's retiring Yankee after Yankee after Yankee. Mickey Rivers, Willie Randolph, didn't matter. Top of the fourth inning, score is still 3-2 Dodgers. And Mike Torres of the Yankees is retiring Dodger after Dodger after Dodger. We get to the bottom of the fourth inning. Yankees are up to bat. Thurman Munson, the catcher, singles to left field. Bert Hooton's still on the mound at this point for the Dodgers. Reggie Jackson comes up to bat, and the first pitch he sees, it's a line drive to deep right field. Over the fence. The first pitch he saw, he took yard. So right now, we're looking at a tie ball. Oh, no. The Yankees go up 4-2. Later in the inning, the Yankees now their bats start turning, right? Lou Piniella flies out, sacrifice fly. In comes Chris Chambliss, all right, on a sacrifice fly by Lou Piniella. So now we're looking at 5-3 Yankees. Top of the fifth. Torres is having success. Lopes, Russell, Smith, all go down. Bottom of the fifth, the Yankees are up to bat. Mickey Rivers singles to center field. Willie Randolph bunted out. Thurman Munson lined out to center field. And next comes Reggie Jackson. Now he's facing a pitcher, middle reliever named Elias Sosa of the Dodgers. And the first pitch that this new pitcher introduces to Reggie took deep. and it was a home run. Okay, so now the Dodgers are trailing 7-3. Now keep score here, not the 7-3, but what Reggie's done. The first two pitches that he saw in the last two innings, he went yard. Okay, let's see what else happens. Chris Chambliss ends the bottom of the fifth inning by grounding out. The damage is really being done here, though, by the Yankees. I mean, they are just increasing the lead as the game goes on. Top of the sixth inning, Mike Torres is on the mound, and the Dodgers go in order. It's going to stay 7-3 till we get to the bottom of the eighth inning. In the bottom of the eighth inning, Reggie Jackson was the first man up to bat. He was leading off the bottom of the eighth. Now, on the mound is knuckleball hurler Charlie Huff. Charlie Huff had one really good pitch, like most knuckleball pitchers. They have one really good pitch. Some knuckleballers might throw a changeup, but this is their pitch, right? And Charlie Huff was a pretty good knuckleballer. And as a matter of fact, he doesn't have a really bad outing the rest of this game. Okay, but when he faced Reggie Jackson in the bottom of the eighth inning, the first pitch that Reggie saw, not only did Reggie hit a home run. You remember that section I told you to look at in Yankee Stadium right there, that black section right there where nobody sits? I explained that it's the furthest section in Yankee Stadium that you can hit a ball. Yeah, that's where it ended up. And that's the thing about a knuckleballer, man. Phil Niekro, his brother Joe Niekro, both played for the New York Yankees at one time in their career. Both played for the Atlanta Braves at one point in their career. Tim Wakefield, may he rest in peace. He just passed away recently in the last few years. And Wakefield, man, he played for Boston. So when his knuckleball was on, it was on. But when the Yankees could figure out that knuckleball, they were decorating the facade off of the left field with his baseballs, man. Right? So and that happens, when the knuckleball's off and it starts to spin a little bit, you know, things like that happen. And that was in the bottom of the eighth inning. Okay. Um, so the Yankees go on to win Game 6. By winning Game 6, they win their 21st World Series in 1977. Now, next year after that, 1978, they would face these Dodgers again, and again, they would beat these same Dodgers in 6 games. These teams were pretty similar one year to the next. They didn't change much, I mean, why would you change up the formula that works? You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're got a real good chance at going back, right? But the Yankees didn't see another World Series win after the following one in 78. They didn't see another World Series championship. You ready for this? So 1996. All right. I mean, that was brutal for us Yankee fans, man. Like, we endured the 80s. We're talking about the trade that sent Dave Winfield from San Diego to New York. I mean, I loved Winfield, dude. That guy was so tall, and the way he just stood over the plate, or stood at the plate, and the way he held the bat, the way he swung, and man, when Winfield would launch that ball, it was gone, dude. Like, I love to watch him. And there was a time in the 80s where we had two really good power hitters in New York, man. You had Don Baylor and Dave Winfield. Like, batting right next. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? But the Yankees have always had that problem, right? Like they've always loved that power. I mean, look at all the guys that have played in New York. You know, Roof, Garrick, um, uh, Roger Maris, Roger and Mickey, right? Like, and then later on, you know, we have Reggie, and then we went through the '80s with different power hitters, and none of that panned out. I mean, hell, I didn't think it was gonna ever pan out with Alex Rodriguez. It took forever. He finally got that ring in New York, though. My God. Um, but you know, the Dodgers of today. I mean, the Dodgers of today. People used to complain about the Yankees payroll. Is anyone complaining about the Dodgers payroll today? Because that's I mean, my God. Just Shohei, and I know a lot of these contracts are backloaded, man. I get it. You know, Shohei's going to be getting paid by the Dodgers, and till he enters a nursing home or something. I get it. You know, we just finished celebrating Bobby Bonilla Day on July 1st. You know, it's not lost on me. I get it. A lot of these contracts now, that's the way they're doing them, right? Um, but the Dodgers are, they remain to be, one of the best teams in the league. I mean, back-to-back World Series, dude. I mean, it is just crazy. And I'll tell you, Toronto took it to them. I thought. I mean, they had to go 7 games. The Dodgers just, they had more juice at the end, dude. But man, they made quick work of the Yankees, man. God, they made quick work of them Yankees, man. And listen, I'm a Yankee fan through and through, dude. I love the New York teams, all of them, with the exception of the football teams. Hell, they're not even New York teams; they're Jersey teams. We don't even claim them anyway. Um, but here we are, July 11th, and it's another day closer to the start of the 2026-2027 NHL hockey season. Right now, everything is just a filler, right? But this is another reason why I wanted to do this podcast, all time replay. I've got some extra time on my hands with no hockey around, so I figured, you know what? Why don't we just talk sports, man? And there's nothing I love talking more than sports. So I hope you guys are really enjoying following along. Please follow every episode, every teaser. Check them all out. Like, share, subscribe. Let your friends know. If you're of my generation, then you've got plenty of buddies, I'm sure, still around, and you guys have similar, great sports memories, man. Share the podcast with them, man. And also, go to the page on YouTube, and drop a comment in there. Let me know what's some of your favorite biggest moments that you've witnessed in sports, man. Something you've watched on TV as a kid in your grandmother's living room, or you were at the stands with your dad and your family watching a game, and you just happened to see history happen, man. Like my memory of Hell Flutie. That's mine. You know what I mean? I've got a couple others, but not as big as that. But please, let me know what are some of your favorite sports moments. A moment in sports that just like totally, changed something. Uh, Rivalries. What are some of your favorite rivalries? Ohio State, Michigan, Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Celtics, Lakers. What are some of your favorite rivalries? Rangers, Penguins, Rangers, Canadians. Talk to me. Hey, folks, I've had a great time recapping Game 6 of the 1977 World Series, getting to talk to you a little bit about, one of my all-time heroes from my childhood, Reggie Jackson. I mean, the guy had a Reggie bar, man, a candy bar named after him. Not too many players have had that. Roof did, still has it. But I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this a lot, sharing just some of the moments that I remember throughout my life, and man, there's plenty of them. So please hit me up on the page. Let me know exactly your favorite sports moments, rivalries, teams, whatever it is you want to chat sports. I'm here for it. See you next time.